Okay, so Bill, you've been in the program now. How much weight have you lost since we started?
About 45 pounds since we started.
45 pounds. Quite the journey. So, what would you say your biggest struggle was before you started the program, and what did you learn going through it, and what were your wins?
But my biggest struggle before, okay, yeah, my biggest struggle before was uh, probably not being disciplined on what I'm eating. It was probably overeating, overindulging on the good stuff, and not eating enough of the good food. Also, on the weekends, probably you know maybe having a bit too much fun every weekend, like every weekend having drinks Friday, Saturday, Sunday sort of thing. So that was probably the biggest thing. I tried to work it off previously by on Monday to Thursday work really hard, do a lot of cardio, and then the weekend would come have fun. But basically the yo-yo effect, right? So yeah, you basically either stay flat, and then if you went a little too hard on the eating and drinking, then you would probably just gain a little bit of weight, right? But going into COVID and then coming out of COVID, I wasn't working out much, so I actually ended up just putting a bunch of weight on, and so it was that was 45 pounds of COVID weight. Well, actually, probably 25 pounds of COVID weight and 20 pounds of other weight that I lost now.
Yeah. So let's list out kind of like the changes you've had. So starting with how much weight you lost, what else has changed, clothes, wardrobe, kind of t walk me through what's happened.
Sure. The clothes are probably I'm fitting clothes that I haven't worn in 12 years. Suits that I bought, 12 years ago that fit snug are actually loose now. So and I was 230 then, I'm 230 now. So that tells me I've kind of lost probably a bit more fat and gained a bit more muscle. So that's one big thing. I'm actually eating more food than I was eating before. But I've found things that work for me that I enjoy. So I eat a lot of egg whites, a lot of eggs in a carton as well. The burn break eggs. Mix those up with some turkey sausage, and I got like 70 grams of protein out of that with very little fat and carbs. So that works well for me. Just so little things like that. Meal prep for lunch, ordering from Whole Bowl. That was a big thing that helped me in the beginning because I wasn't trying to get my macros dialed in. It was hard to make the meals at home. Just a lot of work to be able to get the meals originally from Whole Bill made a big difference. Eventually, my wife and I, kind of worked through some meals that we can make easily at home that she then makes for dinner. So now I get my lunches from Whole Bowl and dinners are made at home, but they're all like the butter chicken recipe that you have. If at first it took a little bit of getting used to it, but now I actually enjoy the taste of it, and it gives me my butter chicken craving, right? Um,
Yeah.
so those are the kind of the big things that made a difference. My working out discipline, I had it before. I just, like I said, I lost it during COVID. And once I started losing weight, I got the motivation to keep doing it now. And now, I'm working out a minimum 4 or 5 times a week, which is what I was doing before too. But I lost it, and now I gained it back as far as my desire to work out, and getting the results, I think, kind of helped with that, right? So
Yeah, that's good. So for like just for context, for everyone watching, like you didn't just follow a boring PDF meal
no,
and now you don't know what you did. Like you developed lifelong skills of how to eat, right? Like walk
correct.
me through what you did there. Like what
Yeah,
did you develop? Like what show people, tell people what kind of how I taught you, the system.
yeah. So when you gave me the macros, and then I looked at the recipes to see what the macros would be, and then I flipped through the recipes. Okay, what is stuff in here that I would like to eat, right? To find a lean beef burger or a turkey burger, right? Chicken breast with potatoes, right? So I went through all those meals and I tried a bunch of different ones, and then when I found the ones that I really like, those are the ones I kind of set into my program. So MyFitnessPal, like I paid for the premium edition, biggest thing I ever did, the $120 for the year, no brainer investment there, right? You get the macros, you dump them in there. You don't have to go through and enter in every ingredient, right? Create your own recipes. So I've done that and created my own recipes. So there's this one the recipe that we make. It's like a Big Mac beef burrito. So homemade Big Mac sauce with Kraft single cheese in a protein low carb high protein wrap with extra lean beef. It's 500 calories, fills me up, and tastes amazing. So
Yeah.
That's to kind of give context to what I've done. So I've done that, and I've found what works for me for breakfast. So what I do is on Mondays or Sundays, I kind of sit here and I go, okay, this is what I'm going to have every day, and I plan my meals for the next. I don't go all week because things change, right? So I try to plan at least the next 2 to 3 days. So I'll put in my breakfast. I know what my lunch is because I've pre-ordered it. And then I kind of go see, okay, what's left over, and then I see what's left over, go through the recipes I have, and then I'll go to my wife and say, okay, let's do this tonight. So
Yeah.
so one night I'll have a pepperoni pizza, so it's a prep, and then the other night I'll do the beef burrito. On the third night we might just do a turkey sandwich, and put it in a low carb bun, melt the cheese, put it in there, nice turkey melt sandwich. Again, I think it's only like 350 calories in that.
Yeah.
Sides, stuff that I found that really worked for me for sides, and it took me a little experimenting,
Yeah.
but those little mini trio potatoes, you can have 110 grams, and there's no fats, very a little bit of protein, and a little bit of carbs, but it goes really well with just a chicken breast or a steak. So you can have your steak and potatoes. You can have a
You
salad.
sound like an expert. You sound like an expert on food now.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
That's what you've become. You become a master of food.
Yeah, and so and you nail it down in the beginning, right? So like I plan it out. So it's not like so if I know my wife's made, she'll make fettuccine alfredo for the kids with our steak sometimes, right? And I'll make it. I'll go, you know what? I can have one scoop. It's not the end of the world, and I'll have it because I want to have a taste of it, right? But other times, if I wasn't planning it, I probably would have had 2 or 3 scoops of that. I would have had the potatoes, the steak, and then I would have overate, right?
You sound like now you know exact numbers. Someone that's never been in my program probably like, what are you talking about?
Yeah.
Food is just food. But
Yeah.
before the program, you had like you knew about food roughly, but you don't have the knowledge you have now about numbers, nothing.
No, not even close to what I have now. Yeah.
So you basically figured out the puzzle pieces that work for your life.
Yeah. Yeah.
Now you're able to apply it.
Exactly. And there's big things like I don't need full fat mayo in my stuff, right? I actually don't mind the taste of Miracle Whip, which has like nothing in it. But if I want a little bit of a taste, then I'll go with the half fat mayo, right? But we plan those in advance. That's the big thing, right? But yeah, I go out a lot to eat, and I don't sit there being very picky about it. But I go through and I'll pick stuff that I know is good protein, right, and little less in fat. I mean, go to a restaurant, you're gonna have a lot of fat, right? So try to pick
the numbers there. The numbers there, you can't prevent anything.
Totally. So I've gotten myself knowledgeable on all the restaurants I visit on a regular basis. So whether it's Earl's or Cactus or Brown's, I kind of have an idea of what I'm going to eat there when I go now, and I don't have to sit there flip through a menu. I've already kind of known, and a lot of times it's going to kind of sound weird to say this, but a go-to is just a regular burger, and I get it without the mayo. Tell them to put the mustard in it and put ketchup on the side. Add a little ketchup if I need it. Otherwise, I'll just eat it with the mustard, and I'll get a side salad. It works. The numbers work. It's under 1,000 calories, and you cut out some of the fat because you're not getting the mayo.
Yeah. So what would you say to someone who they never heard of macros? They're in rough shape. They want to get in shape. They think it's too complicated, even though they have a job that's much more complicated than typing in bananas and stuff into MyFitnessPal. Like, what would you say to them? Would you say that it's a little hard in the beginning, but after a while, what's a proper guidance? You get used to it. Would you say it's a life skill? Like, if someone just asked you, like, Bill, what's this all about? Like, how would you explain to somebody?
Yeah, I was very overwhelmed in the beginning as well, and maybe I sound like a bit of a broken record here, but getting the guidance from you and kind of giving me a starting point. Like, I think we started at what, 2,100? I think we originally started. So starting at the 2,100 guidance, okay, well, what can we do to make this work? I had no clue. So I just went to Gurj and Jaspreet at Hobel, right? I said, look, I'm working with Arj. I'll figure out my breakfast once you tell me what meals I can fit in for lunch and dinner. And I did that for the first, I think, almost 3 or 4 months. So I had lunch and dinner from them, and they figure I gave them what the macros were. They gave me 2 meals every day, and then what was left over is what I had for breakfast. Once I got a hang of it and we started cutting down the calories, then I was able to go back and say, okay, you know what? We can figure out the dinners now. I'll get the lunches from them. And because I figured out the 3 or 4 meals I really like having from them. and I just get that on a regular basis, and I put them in every other day.
Yeah,
Um,
it works.
so yeah, so that was the big thing. I think, working with the guidance with you, working with somebody like Gurge and Jasper, that whole bowl, and then MyFitnessPal. I think between the three of them, you need each resource to get started. If you don't have them, I think you'd have a difficult time.
Yeah, yeah, that's for sure.
Yeah.
But let's switch over to like people. I know people have noticed a change on you. Like, talk me through kind of like what you've been going through. People giving you compliments, people noticing. Like, how do you feel about all this?
Yeah, people are coming up to me and saying you look very different, and they notice the change, and they can just see it, right? The clothes, they're like, oh, those are really baggy, because I haven't quite bought all new clothes yet, so I still wear some of my old stuff. But my all my suits and stuff, I'm fitting into them. It just feel much better. I think one of the best things was, we were at a conference just last week in Whistler, and one of my partners who works at another office walked right by me, and then turned around and came back and said, oh my god, I didn't even recognize you, I thought you were somebody else. And I'm like, well, I know I've lost weight, but I don't think I've lost that much, right? But even now, I got just yesterday a client. We jumped on a video call, and my client goes, hey, before I say anything else, Bill, I just wanted to say you look really good, because you can just see it in your face. And he didn't even see the rest of my body. All he can see is the upper half, right? And like, yeah, thanks. The face actually does. I get a lot of compliments on the face. They like, you look like you lost like 50 pounds just on your face alone.
Yeah, it shows on the face right away. People
Yeah,
can see because the face is a harder spot to lose fat from, right? So when you get to that point, that means that you've gone pretty far in your journey now,
yeah,
right?
yeah.
So that's good. So what would you say, like, would you say that the accountability, the real-time coaching I provided in the app, was it beneficial? And tell me kind of why it was beneficial for someone who's starting off in their healthy fitness journey and they had no idea how to follow a plan, nothing.
Yeah, no, it definitely was beneficial, because it keeps you accountable, right? If you're trying to do it yourself, I mean, if you watch enough of your videos, I'll start tomorrow, right? Yeah, that's the mentality. It's not That's not fake. That's real, right? That's how people do act, right? And I did that for a long time, and I'm like, I'll just start tomorrow. And I kept doing that, and even I started your program the middle of October last year. I didn't actually really dial it in until like the new year, right? Because I used the excuse, well, I got Christmas coming up, I have parties, and got lots of stuff going on, so I just want to maintain. Plus, I had my shoulder surgery, so I was just getting back into weight training. So I was taking it really easy. But in the new year, I made a commitment to it. It's okay. You know what? Let's really dial this in. I'm working with Arj, right? Let's to get the value that I can get out of this program. Because if I'm disciplined, I can make this work. And sure enough, I spent the next 5 weeks like really dialing it in. Cutting back the drinking. I went cold turkey for 5 weeks. I felt that was a good way to start, and then I introduced it back in once a week, and I did that until May. And then May I started drinking again twice a week again. But that worked for me, because if I didn't, I think I would have hated the program, right? Because I'm like, why am I doing this? I'm not having fun. I'm not enjoying life, right? But to be able to enjoy life and still get these results, I think that was really important. And that comes back to the program then, right? It's because that's there, and you're accountable to your coach plus yourself, right? You can see real time, and for you to make adjustments on the fly too, right? Like, okay, you noticed, you know what, Bill made the progress he did at 21, but he's not making any more progress now. I think that was somewhere around the end of February, early March. So we cut it back. We cut it down to 2, and then 1900, and then the summer you said, okay, you're having a lot of fun, so let's just put you at 1700. So you stick to that for the Monday to Thursday, Monday to Friday, and then if you go off the charts on the weekends, it'll rebound back, right? Kind of balanced out, average it out, right?
Yeah, I think a lot of people get stuck in that no man's land. They lose a little bit of weight, but they don't know what the next move is.
Yeah,
And without a coach, they're just kind of like, should I just cut out carbs now? And like they don't make the right move.
that's
And
right.
when you make the right move, it's almost like you go backwards because now you don't know what's working, what's not.
Exactly. Yeah.
So you get that clarity and that really helped you out, right? So what would you say if someone was asking you, was it worth it? Like if someone asked you about a program, what would you say it's worth it? Would you recommend it? And just kind of tell me why.
Yeah, definitely. I would say that. I mean, do you value your health, right? And if you do, then it's definitely worth it, right? Especially if you're struggling to do it on your own, right? But I mean, one of the big things for me, I think, I've learned a lot of things that I can carry on in my life now without, having to be accountable to someone, be accountable to myself, right? But I think it's very important to have that person to help you get started with that approach, right? And some people, they may need it a little longer, right? But at the end of the day, I think the value is definitely there, because you need a kickstart, right? Because everybody can say I can do this myself. I can do this myself. There's a lot of stuff online. I interviewed 3 different coaches when I went through this, right? I just thought from a values and goals perspective, we were the best fit, and I decided to go with you, right? And it's worked well. It's worked very very well. You've held me accountable, but you've also haven't been like, oh, you have to do this, right? Every time I told you, something's coming up, you just said, okay, fine, just have fun, do what you got to do, but just be mindful, right? Like if you're going to a reception party, don't have all the naan, right? Have some butter chicken, but more chicken, less sauce, right? Yeah.
Yeah, I think that, I mean, you killed it. 45 pounds at your age, like you went all in. And I love working with clients who reciprocate the energy I bring. I bring the energy where I can help you, but it has to be 50-50. I can't walk 51 and you walk 49. You brought it.
Yeah.
You did all the work, right? Like I'm just there to guide you as a guiding light. And it was a pleasure working with you. I know you can keep these results for the rest of your life. And my job as a coach in this chapter is done. Like,
Yeah.
like I know that you got the skills. I don't want to have someone that needs to depend on me. Here's a new PDF document. No, you developed the life skills you needed. You got in shape, but more importantly, you can keep it off going forward by yourself. And to me, that's
Yeah.
amazing. I did my job and you did your job and it was a perfect fit. So I
What
appreciate you.
One thing I want to add, because I know other people will be listening to this, is you don't have to be a big person that goes to the gym and works out a lot. All I did was walk every day, 10,000, 8 to 10,000 steps. And if you can't do it outside, go on the treadmill, do half an hour, 3.6, you'll get about 5,000 steps, right? And that's what I did every day for the last year. That's all I've been doing. No running, no jumping, no hopping. My knees are feeling really good because I've got bad knees, but I haven't had any issues. And then 3 times a week, just lift some light weights. I'm not killing myself. I've got 2 bad shoulders, so I figured out, kind of my weight limit. I push as long as I can. So if it's 10 reps, I do 10. If it's 15, I do 15. But just get that burn, right? So I think that's really important in this, because I know some people probably get discouraged. Oh, I got to go to the gym. I got to run. I got to lift weights. You don't have to do all that. You can do it at home. Like it's all simple stuff you can do at home. You can get a walking pad if you want from Amazon. It's only $300. You can buy bands from Amazon. My bands cost me $30 for one set. I bought 2 sets, so I had extra resistance. And you can buy some free weights, like you can get those adjustable dumbbells that go from 5 to 50 pounds. And that's all you need. I mean, all that's going to cost you less than $500.
Yeah, I think there's so much information out there. People think it's too complicated,
Yeah,
but the whole point of this is let's simplify it beyond belief to the point where you just put the reps in every single day. That's it. Yeah, you can walk your way to success. You don't have to run. You don't have to hop. You don't have to do any of that.
yeah,
There's always a path to success in whichever way that whoever it is, they require. And that's all it is. We meet someone where they're at and we get you to the next level. That's it.
yeah, 100%.
Awesome. Well, I appreciate you doing this, and it's been a pleasure working with you. And whoever's watching this, Bill lost 45 pounds and he killed it. And if he can do it, you can do it. So keep going.